Hey, Carl. All right. Flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to our December board meeting. December business board meeting. First order of business, clerk, please call roll.
Dykstra.
Here.
Cargill. Here. Fearing.
Here.
Belinda.
Here.
Iting. Here.
All board members are here. All right. First item, minutes of this month's board meeting. What's the board's pleasure?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Support. Moved supported. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, next item, consideration of the agenda which is before you. Is there any changes, corrections, or additions? Or deletions, I guess.
Deletions.
Yeah, whatever you want to get rid of.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Support. Moved and supported. All those in favor of the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, this time we're going to open up for public comment. Those of you that wish to make an appointment to the board, you have to come up and address the board from the blue line, please. Go ahead.
Silverback off-road. I've only been dealing with you guys for about a year. So last month we came to the board, we went to the planning commission first. I turned in all my paperwork, I gave them a site plan. Got that all approved, and we brought it to you guys to approve it again. And I got my blueprints made, got them stamped. Went to Rob and found out that my building is not to size. That I was only approved for 120 feet, not 160 feet. In my site plan, it said 160 feet. I guess I just kind of need to get a clarification if I was approved for 160. And my setbacks were all where they were supposed to be. I don't know, even the paperwork I turned in said, I made it bigger. I didn't realize that I couldn't make it bigger. So I guess I'm asking, was I approved, not approved? I guess.
Did that go to the planning commission before it came to us for a site plan?
Yes.
It did, but it was for moving the barn and changing, taking the fence out that you guys had approved, if you remember that. And moving the 120 square foot, or the 120 by 60. All the way to the other side of the driveway, if you remember that.
Did we have a new blueprint with a?
There might have been a blueprint. It wasn't ever relayed to me that it was bigger, but I need to read this.
But if it was on the blueprint and the planning commission missed it, we missed it.
But you can't just do it with the okay. It has to, when you go bigger than 120 square foot, bigger than the original, then you have to start a whole new project, a whole new PUD right here and major modifications. Well, I'll read. Minor modifications include changes associated with the location of buildings, structures, roads, parking areas, signs, lighting, and driveways, provided they are in the same general location as originally approved. Increasing the size of an individual building by not more than 120 square feet of the original gross floor area is also considered a minor modification. This is they're asking for a 40 by 60 bigger. And it needs to be a whole new plan coming out. Like starting a whole public hearing process out again.
Okay. Yeah.
And I did say that. I mean,
Right.
maybe you didn't catch
Well, no,
that.
we had the conversation. I
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure that I mean, I guess felt I turned in the paperwork properly. I did my site plan properly. I don't know where, I messed up. I didn't understand it. So that, maybe that's on me, but.
So they're able to build the building that was original in the.
120 by 60,
We can
yes.
start that in the process.
Wasn't that moved?
And it hasn't even been started yet. But you could put that up and not put the middle posts in. And then start the process to add the 40 feet. And then just add on from there. That's possible. I know it's something that can be done.
Well, it makes all my setbacks off and everything else off if I don't have 160 feet.
Well, but in the meantime, while you're doing that, and getting that going, start the process and we bring it back to the planning commission and do another public hearing and. To me, it's kind of a no-brainer, but I've got to follow what this ordinance says.
If you don't, we ended up in court once over that.
Okay,
We had a sharp lawyer
all right,
catch the air.
thank you very much.
All right. Any other public comment?
Hey, Carl, just real quick, you might want to just advise whether you get changed you're gonna have public comment at the end now as well.
Yeah. All right, we'll continue on then. Correspondence?
Jane, takes me a while to get there. Hi, Jane Boldway. I'm also a member of the planning commission. And I looked up some paperwork back in when I started, and it was 2017. In that time, the 7 years that we've been together here, I have learned a lot, been sent to a lot of workshops, done a lot of research and understanding. So I've come to you today with a little bit more knowledge than I did 6 months ago. Recently I went to a workshop by MTA, Michigan Township Association, and that was up in Harbor Springs. And most of the presentations were given by lawyers and MTA officials. And there's quite a bit of information that I caught that I'd like to share with you guys and the public that are present here today. I never realized that there were two kinds of ordinances. There's an ordinance that's a zoning ordinance, and that has to go through planning commission. And there's an ordinance that is a police ordinance, which can be written by the board. And the police ordinance has to do with health and safety of the township people. We also covered a lot of information about ethics and how things should be presented. Voting members on both planning and board have to have an ethical situation and they must or should recuse themselves from voting if the ordinance affects any kind of a financial benefit in any way, shape, or form for the member themselves, their family, or close friends. I'm a little concerned, and I think many people are, that as business member, Mr. Kalenda is a board member that is voting on an ordinance that may have some effect to his financial situation. They emphasized at our workshop that the ethics needs to be very obvious to the public. Not so much in writing an ordinance, but in voting on it. Our ORV ordinance may cause it does not affect any economic issues for our township. We're not gonna make any money on it. We are concerned with the safety part of it, with uninsured, unlicensed, underage drivers. Years ago, Gary Beggs was on the board, and I remember him making a statement that really stuck with me. He said, if I don't see any benefit to the township, I cannot vote for it. And I want to remind everybody of that. 2 years ago, the ORV issue was defeated by planning commission. And I'm concerned that it has come back again. And I'm gonna come up with a few quotes here. Some are just old timers. My mother always said, what's done is done. And I think the fact that we defeated it once should be brought up and made knowledgeable to everyone. The MTA also had a few quotes that I'd like to read. The role of the decision maker is to make the best possible decision for the community as a whole. They also stated, being aware of conflicts of interest and abstaining when necessary is always important. And I end with a question. Is the happiness of donors and local businesses more important than the safety in our township? Thank you.
Thank you. Right? Any other public comment? All right, Rachel, please continue with the correspondence from the IRS.
Yeah, so just we received notification that we are no longer a monthly depositor, but now we are semi-weekly depositor.
Goody.
Yeah.
All right. Connie, treasurer's report.
Okay. In our checking account, in the capital savings account, we have $50.02. I did take $9,900 from this checking account and put it into my class. The general fund has a balance of $99,739.33. The road fund has a balance of $250.67. The Silver Lake Construction Fund has a balance of $4.94. And the tax fund has a balance of $106,402.99, which I'll be dispersing again tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. The TNA has a balance of $766.01. In the my class, which is our investment funds, general fund has a balance of $230,229.50. The road fund has a balance of $367,621.82. The capital fund, because I added the $9,900, has a balance of $158,961.50. The Silver Lake Trail has a balance of $1,906.56. The park fund has a balance of $2,005.14. The cemetery has a balance of $54,833.12, and the ARPA funds have a balance of $130,526.66. We earned $4,251.73 last month in interest with all the accounts, and the year-to-date income from interest is $47,549.43. So that has been quite a nice number. So we have checks to approve. And I did want to, there's been a little confusion about the tax bills and the percentage of increase and the rates and on and on and on. So just as general information, if you have a principal residence exemption, this means your house where you live is your principal residence. Out of the 28.6235 mills, the township gets 4.1 mills. 1.2 of that is for operating, the rest is for roads and fire. So the county gets 9.7499, the school gets 5.2, the ESD gets 3.5, and the state education tax is 6 mills. We also get a 1% PTAF, that's the admin fee. And that's on the whole tax bill. And the township, it has, we've assessed $92,000 for the township for this, PTAF, principal or property tax admin fee. And that is used for assessor's salary, my deputy's salary, any tax expenses. It costs us $7,680 a year to mail out and to print the tax bills. So, you know, that all comes out of that $92,000. So, so now we can pay the bills because we've got all this money.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Moved and
I'll support that.
you supported it, all right, a roll call vote, please.
Dykstra,
Yes,
Eichmann, yeah. Belinda,
Yes.
Cargill,
Yes,
Waring.
Yes. Right, bills will be paid, thank you.
hallelujah.
All right. We have some reports at this time. Anybody from the sheriff's department here? No, all right, zoning.
We have 89 permits so far this year, 25 of them are new homes. I noticed that, up there on Wilson Circle, up above on the hill there from Valdez Lakes is starting to grow. And then the our only gated community headed out toward Winona, up above, Mac Woods is also starting to grow. There's finally homes going into both of them areas. The rental letter is going out. You guys raised the price last month and had a little bit of complaint. I've sent those complaints on to you to read. So just to let you know, the state has made a law on renewable energy that they're taking control. And so I think the planning commission is gonna need to look into whether or not we even want an ordinance or what we want to do. That's something we're gonna have to look at.
MTA's working on it.
Right, I was gonna say, on January 10th, there's gonna be a class, so I'd say wait until then, but just to give you guys a heads up, I think I sent you guys a letter on that too. And then this one here really doesn't have to do with zoning, but I'm gonna give you guys a copy of this. This is Holton Township has made a resolution to protect the Second Amendment, made their township a second. Yes, I do.
Thank you.
A Second Amendment sanctuary township against any mandates or executive orders that are not legal. And I just, something that maybe we should look into, I just put that to your attention. It's protecting our Second Amendment rights.
All right,
That's all I have.
thank you, Rob. Park? No, no, okay.
Christmas trees up and
Well, yeah.
wet, that's about it.
Or we did order, Shelby Olson as contributing it's a swing that the parent sits on one side and the kid sits on the other. It's a same swing and she's paying for it and it's ordered and so.
All right,
and Jake, we're gonna have another meeting on the 5-year parks plan.
Yeah, we can get our third number around here. Weekday or something, yeah.
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 Not at all, but
No, not third time.
Jake, what you got on the fire?
Well, we've accomplished one great grant. We received a $40,000 grant to replace all the turnout gear for all the firemen, which is gonna take up for all that $40,000.
Yeah.
And we also have another grant in for new breathing apparatus for everybody. That's gonna be somewhere in the neighborhood of $25,000 or $30,000, so. That's money that's not coming out of our general fund, which you guys contribute to. We work hard to try to fund that fire department every way possible. The house that we bought behind the station there, that's been torn down and cleaned up. The guys used it for some fire practice. And that got to where it wasn't any good anymore, so we bulldozed it, but that's just the future. We own the property alongside the station, and that piece was right behind that, so when it came up, we thought it was a good purchase, so that if we ever have to expand or change things, we got land to do it on. Our new fire truck is in operation, it's working well, everybody's up to speed on it. And as of our last meeting, we should be starting our medical first responder soon. So if you call 911 and there's no ambulance around, they're gonna send firemen to try to help you. And we've got 12 or 11 people in conjunction with us in Pentwater that are all trained in that and ready to go. So we've got, and some of them are right here in Golden Township, so. I used them for my wife, and she got down on the floor and I couldn't get her back up, and they came and helped her get back up. And there's no charge for it, it's part of the county pays for it, they reimburse us for each run, so there's no cost out of pocket for us. So it will improve our service here because ambulance is not very good. Just call 911 and tell them you have an emergency, tell them what it is, and they'll dispatch the firemen out and help you out.
Thank you. Planning Commission,
That's done.
We didn't have a meeting.
no meeting, all right. Back to you, Jake, on the roads, got enough salt for the winter?
Not slippery.
Right.
Yeah. Barbie, you have anything?
We have an assessor's report. Barbie says, I have heard some concerns about increases in taxes paid by property owners this winter. As a reminder, your taxable value increased by 5% for the 2023 assessment year. The total taxes due on your winter tax bill could show a larger increase, though, due to millage rate changes. There were also many special assessment districts that were renewed for the 2023 assessment year. These special assessments are not ad valorem taxes and are not based on your taxable value. If your property is located in a special assessment district, you would have received notices this summer about the increase to those amounts. In the Michigan Tax Tribunal, we currently have one case pending in the Small Claims Tribunal. The State Tax Commission, the rate of inflation was calculated to be 5.1% by the state of Michigan. This means that we will again be using the 5% cap for the taxable value increase in 2024. The December Board of Review did not have any petitions to review, so no meeting was held. In November of 2023, our Board of Review chairperson, Helen Leffler, passed away. Helen was a kind and intelligent woman who was a real joy to work with. She served Golden Township for many decades on both the Planning Commission and the Board of Review, and she will be greatly missed by all of us here at the township, as well as her friends and family. Sincerely, Barbie Eaton, Golden Township Assessor.
Very good, thank you. All right, our next report. I asked this fella to give a complete analysis of the report. I think he's doing a great job. Bill, would you give your summary so far?
Well, I'm gonna recap from where we started. We started at a work session meeting back in June when law enforcement came and said, would you look at an ORV ordinance? Now, they can say they did not, but we sat here and we listened to them. They ticketed people, but they said it's out of control, and they asked Carl to form a committee. Carl formed the committee. He appointed a planning commission member, a resident, law enforcement, to represent businesses, a chamber member, myself, and the township board. We have met multiple times. And I've always said to you guys, I will be transparent. first thing I would do is when we had something, we would write something. We would turn it to law enforcement. After law enforcement, to our attorney. And then I said I'd give it to the township board and then release it to the public. This is not an ordinance. This is the framework. So that you guys know exactly where the committee is. We have not written an ordinance yet. We have written framework for an ordinance. And today, I will give each member a copy of the ordinance proposal framework. Rob, I have one for you. Tomorrow, I'm gonna ask Rachel to post this online for all of you to take a look at. Take your time, read it over. We have lots of letters from residents opposing it. We have more residents and people who would like to see it. Rob just handed us a crash list of ORVs and stuff. That is useful, but we also have all that research here as well.
Okay, I was asked to give it to you. I was gonna
Yeah.
say that after you were done talking.
No, we've looked at crashes involving everything, from tractors to bicycles to snowmobiles to everything. It's all right there is our research. So we're gonna be transparent on this. We're not gonna be hiding, we're not gonna be not keeping you guys abreast of what's going on, but it is a frame and a start. You guys can look at it. And that's all I'm gonna ask. Just take a look at it at that time. You wanna submit a letter, send it to the township. All's like that.
Very good. Thank you.
Is that the same one you sent to me?
Correct.
All right,
Word for word.
What?
Word for word.
all right. Unfinished business,
I think-
anything from before? No?
And it's,
I forgot to add this to the, I could have added this to the agenda.
All right, go ahead and shoot with it right now.
Okay. Mr. LaFever came in and told me that he is with the, Park Area Recreation Association, which we support because our kids take part in soccer and baseball and I don't know what all else they have. Anyway, Brian Lindgren has been our representative from Golden Township and he is resigned from the board. So this is an email from Victoria Garachez. She says, my name is Victoria and I'm interested in being in the Golden Township rep to the rec board. I've been involved volunteering, coaching and helping in concession stands. I would love to remain active and join the rec board. Sorry for the late email. I tried to send email earlier, but was given the wrong email on accident. Hope to hear back from you. And she's been working with them. They would request that she would be appointed and I, no reason why we shouldn't appoint her.
I guess if you ask that as a motion,
I do.
any support on that?
sport.
All right. Let's vote on, who's the person that we're gonna put in?
Victoria. Where? Veritas?
All right, this young lady. All those in favor of putting her on the board signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Very good, thank you. We have new business, we have to reappoint Lorena Kramer and Mark Rippey
For 3 years.
for a 3-year term for the planning commission. I guess let's do that one first.
I'll make that motion to appoint Lorena and Mark.
Support it. Moved and supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? There you go, Mark, another job. All right, number 2, reappoint for the ZBA, Bob Ramlow and Deb Shockey. 3-year term. We have a motion on that, please.
I'll make that motion.
Support, move and support. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Now, we have resignation of Patty Hammond, who's been on the board for years. We have to appoint alternate Bob Jones and Chris Telhar.
Or,
yeah.
Okay,
they are both alternates.
alternates, yes.
and We need to put one of them as a regular member.
All right. Somebody want to make a motion who they want as a regular member?
I'll make a motion to appoint Bob Jones.
I'll support.
We supported Bob Jones as the full-time member. We'll vote on that. In favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. All right. Need a border review member.
Yeah. Anybody's interested in the board review, or if anybody can come up with some names? Barbie and I were talking about it and she came up with a couple, but we haven't had a chance to talk to anybody about it yet.
We need that tonight.
No.
No, we can't do it tonight.
Do we have an
That's-
alternate?
Yeah, Brenda's the alternate,
Oh,
but Barbie doesn't want Brenda to become the full-time because Brenda's here.
Okay.
And if something happens and that a person can't come, all of a sudden, they always meet on days that Brenda works, so Brenda's here, so she can step right in, so. Plus she works with the board, she gets the, helps process the paperwork and stuff, so.
All right.
So, yeah, yeah,
Table that until we,
yeah, but just be thinking of, or if anybody's interested, let us know, and
You have to be a voting member,
resident.
voting resident.
Yes.
yes.
All right. The public asked for it. We're gonna try it, see how it works. Don't abuse it. 3 minutes max. You have to come up to the blue lines and face the board. Anybody with any follow-up public comment? All right,
Oh, we have to change.
come on, Jane.
And this has nothing to do with
Yeah,
Barbie's, so take a breath.
Well, let's not have
We
any
did talk a
speeches.
while ago about a fire department, new place that's supposed to be out towards Silver Lake, and that we were supposed to be drilling a well. Is that still on? And I haven't seen anything going on.
Yep.
Okay,
It's a coming.
is it? Okay.
There's a stick in the ground with an orange ribbon on it.
I'll look more carefully.
All right,
Hi, I'm Wes Vanderbilt. I just want to share some, my thoughts about the ORV ordinance. As somebody who owns a business and is a resident and is raising a family here, I recognize that there is a difference between the two. My business probably would benefit from it, but I do think that my family and raising a family and having this remain a community where I would want to raise a family would be interfered by that. I also spend a lot of time on the road during the busy months, the last of June, all of July, and the beginning of August. I drive a lot into our getting bananas all the time. I can't keep bananas in stock, right? And so I've already witnessed what happens when there are golf carts driving through Silver Lake and watching people on Silver Lake Road, passing them. Very dangerous, very scary. People get frustrated. The worst I've seen though is when the mopeds are driving up and down Fox Road, groups of them. And there's people trying to pass up the hills because they can't go more than 25 or 35. My understanding is, apologize for my voice. My understanding is that the speed limit would be 35 for all of these vehicles, which would probably make the mess even worse. I understand that the officers are probably having a difficult time with enforcing it. I understand that, but that doesn't mean that it makes it better to create even more chaos. Silver Lake is crazy for about 8 weeks, really crazy. And if we make the traffic even worse, I can't imagine people wanting to walk, run, ride bikes, all the things that make our community quaint, special. Silver Lake is special because it's not the Keys. It's because you can come here, it feels like a small town, and I'd really love to keep it that way. So that's my comment.
oh God, I'd like to make a comment on the ORVs. Can we restrict them to going on to the dunes and not riding all over the township. I mean, are we opening, if we open it up, are we opening up so they can just drive wherever they want to? I don't think that's what we need. We don't need all these vehicles on the road. We already we don't have walkways at the lake that are wide enough for people to walk with their families. And just like this gentleman said, you got side by sides running, cars trying to pass them. You know, this is not safety. We need to think about the residents. And Bill, you said you were having a lot of people that are for it. Do they live here? Are they part of this community? And if they are they just dooners? Or are they people that care about safety?
Depends on my marijuana law. It's gonna be a little better if everybody had a little cannabis. So I think, really, I think there's a lot of people here, my sister, my daughter, both my sisters, my daughter. They all have homes on that important thoroughfare that would be back and forth to Dunes. When you look at that stuff, what's gonna happen to property values? I've already talked to a couple, appraisals, guys. That's gonna be a big thing. You're gonna have to look at what is detrimental to your properties, especially on the thoroughfare. Now, Bill, Carl, you guys kind of live off beaten trail, don't have to worry about what I got to put up with, or what they have to put up with. We need to look at that stuff. Can we coexist with the activities today? It's great to see the horse thing going on this year. It was awesome. Wanted to find me a little pan one with black trim would have been awesome, but no, we wrong. So anyway, that kind of stuff, the biking, the dune biking, that stuff is really cool to see a little bit more of that stuff in our area. To coexist with the biking, the hiking, the people that are up for resorts or walking down the road, taking their baby strollers and stuff like that. It might not be important to you. I know it was. Or when your kids were little and we used to take our kids bike riding, not so important anymore, but we need to look out for my daughter and granddaughter bike riding around the lake. And it's dangerous enough, but you're gonna bring this stuff in where if I look at the rules to where the side-by-sides, quads, whatever that might be, whatever the window of that definition is, however you guys can regulate it, just the side-by-sides will be a task. Now, you're gonna hear a lot of stuff when it comes up to over the next few months or whatever you come up with our next meeting. You're gonna hear that the sheriff can enforce this stuff. You can't enforce a golf cart going down the sidewalk. Yeah, he's way over his head with this stuff. The only thing we do is have more police officers doing a better job. So with that coexisting, how can we do that? We already have that opportunity down on the dunes. They're down there. We do have a little bit on the roads, but I think by opening that window of quads and side-by-sides, legalizing that stuff, not a good thing. Let's kick it to the curb, let it go in the gutter where it goes, and be done with it. Why drag this stuff on any longer? Thanks.
Ted, if you had any idea what it is to serve on a board, you wouldn't have said what you did. I take great opposition to what you just said about the board. There isn't anybody on this board up here that doesn't take every little issue that comes up forward without a grain of salt, and that we have to think about it.
We'll see.
And if we didn't do our job, you'd be screaming that we aren't doing it right. So that's why we take these things under consideration. And we don't just go pass it over and don't spend any attention on it. I think you said a disservice to those people that have been on this board. No matter if you shake your head or not, I'm going to disagree with you. Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Joe Russell. I own a resort down Ridge Road called the Woodland Shores.
in regards to the ORV, I haven't seen the details of where these would be, and I live in, my home in Texas has a golf cart community. It's kind of built for it and it works. Here is a very different place. I'm a person who hosts a few thousand of our visitors every weekend. And I have a few miles of roads within my camp, and those ORVs don't drive in it. It's hectic enough with golf carts, with danger. We have injuries. We have a 5 mile an hour enforced speed limit with speed radar signs and cameras, and it's still chaos. So I want to just make you aware that I'm someone who would probably benefit from that, but I won't allow it. So if the customer would have to get out to Ridge Road, I'm gonna need help with a parking lot to be approved, Rob, because I'm not gonna know where to put these folks. But just concerned about the chaos and the speed down Ridge Road. Now, if this is all doesn't incorporate things like Ridge, Fox and Deer Road, then maybe that's fine. And I'll wait to see what comes on web tomorrow. Okay, thank you.
That's something that I can say. I was doing a little bit of research today and I found that they're in the Michigan law, and I'm not a lawyer, so correct me if I'm wrong. But if my child is playing out in the front yard and a 14-year-old who's riding on a quad decides to veer off the road and go in my yard and hits my kid, and maybe she doesn't die, maybe she's critically injured. The law in Michigan is that because he doesn't have insurance, it's not street legal. It doesn't get covered. I'm stuck footing that bill. So I'm gonna come back to you guys and say, hey, are you paying? Who's paying? Because the insurance isn't gonna pay when there's an injury. And I think that's something that everybody needs to look at and be very conscientious about. Also, people are gonna be going everywhere. And in my yard, I don't want people in my yard. Do you want people in your yard? Do you want people going through the golf course? What are you gonna do when quads and dirt bikes decide to go through the golf course and rip up the grass? Like, who's responsible? Where are you gonna go? What are you gonna do? And yeah, I have 10 parking spots at my business downtown. I would love to line up 30 quads and dirt bikes and have everybody come get ice cream. Yahoo! Line them up, let's go. But I think it's dangerous. There's kids walking everywhere and there's families walking everywhere. There's hotels walking distance. What are you gonna do when all these people are walking at night to get ice cream, or they're going up to Craig's Cruisers, or they're walking on this and they're trying to cross the street? It's already, people aren't stopping for people walking in the pedestrian walkway. They just fly right through for like, I mean, seriously, if you don't drive through there and you don't see that, then you must be blind. And I'm worried about my kid getting hit. And I'm worried about my customers not being safe and getting hit. And I just really think that this is something that, and you guys are a lot older than me. Like, I'm the future of Silver Lake. So is his kids. So are a lot of people my age that are coming in buying businesses. And yeah, I think that there should be something, but I think if we do something, it should be on a trial period. Like maybe, hey, let's try it for 1 or 2 summers. Let's put parameters on it and then come back to the table and reassess it and see, is this better for the community or is it not? Like, I don't think we have to say, like, oh, we're 100% in and we're 100% out. Like, okay, I see that there is some need for some, like, maybe golf cart, and maybe they have to have the orange thing on it. I don't know. I don't know what your guys' job is to figure that out. It's not my job, but it is my job to make sure that my business and my family is protected. And I grew up here. I don't know anything different other than how to do business and how to support our family. And I think we need to do it all, but how do we do it all safely? Anyway, and then customers have mentioned to me possibly about, why don't we have a community bus? Why isn't there a parking area where people can say, hey, there's a bus that comes at 1, 3, 5, 7 o'clock, and you're welcome to hop on that bus and get a ride downtown, or ride up to the Dune. I mean, we did it for Apple Festival a couple years and it worked awesome. Like, why can't we do something like that? Business opportunity.
Very good. Thank you. All right, these are all good ideas. Anybody else? Mr. McNeely, any parting words?
Done.
That is pronounced. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish each and every one of you a very merry and blessed Christmas and a happy New Year.
Happy holidays. Yeah, you. I apologize if I rubbed you the wrong way. I do like your, but, you know.
Hey.